All right, all you freedom-loving boys and girls, you men and women, whomever you are, wherever you are on this big blue marble we call Earth, Mark Centerline Systems. Hey, this is not going to be a loadout video. I'm going to talk about our new rucksack. It'll be kind of a loadout, maybe just showing you some features. If you haven't been watching our live streams, I've actually demonstrated a few times, done some sneak peeks. But this one I'm going to do a little bit more detailed. We're going to probably have to do the camera. So, you know, behind the camera, I got my cousin Berta helping out. Berta, say hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
And her little Poochie buddy was with us, but he was getting a little too crazy, so we had to put him off in the vehicle for a little bit. But anyway, good cast and crew. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Here we go. All right, so back in the day, if you've been following us, I think this was maybe our third product, the Thor system. So it was stood for tactical hunting, outdoor, and recreation. Kind of a, not really a plate carrier, but it had a chest rack, it had a back rack or a back panel, and then you had this ruck. Now, this is the original size ruck that I made way back in the day. And this was really based conceptually off of something I did on one of my deployments overseas. I took another piece of gear, cut off the shoulder straps, modified it so I could plug it right into my plate carrier. And that's what this concept was really about. Didn't really have shoulder straps. You could plug in shoulder straps, but it was really kind of designed to be plugged into the, you know, again, a plate carrier. Well, not everybody runs around with plate carriers, right? Although we did actually have a lot of people, you know, especially like fly fishermen who really liked the Thor system because you could just carry all your stuff right from your vehicle into where you were going, and it was pretty slick. Don't think we're bringing the Thor system back, but stay tuned. Maybe the skeleton chassis has something to do with the Thor system. I don't know. But here is our new ruck. I guess before I get into it, I'll just tell you, I am going to have a naming convention contest for this. Right now, and especially for you military guys, former service, prior service, you know, still in whatever, in the Army, we have the EIB and the CIB, the Expert Infantry Badge and the Combat Infantry Badge. So I kind of just like the ring of that, but I'm thinking I might just call this the EIB or the CIB, and it's like your essential items bag or your critical items bag or your comfort items bag. I've been rucking this now. My health is improving. I can start walking again. My back's better. You know, I just had a hip surgery. I've been walking twice a day for about a mile each time, throwing this guy on. I really like it. And before I kind of get into it, one of the other design functions I want you to see, if you can kind of see here. Now, I've got some of our pouches attached to the outside, as you can see right there. But if you look at this and the original, it's no wider than the average person's shoulders, because getting in and out of vehicles, getting in and out of doorways, you know, even if you're walking like a restricted trail, or if you're just like no trail out in the woods, you know, things that protrude past your shoulders have a tendency to get hung up and snagged on stuff. So this is kind of still within the normal person, the average person's frame. I'm just under 6 feet, you know, and you can just kind of look at me, so I'm kind of an average dude. But so it still sticks with that concept as far as the width. But now you can see this is much taller and it's got greater depth in it. I'm carrying about 30 pounds in here right now. I think I already said, or maybe that was the other cut. Did I already say, you know, like, yeah, could you carry 40 pounds? Yeah, you could probably get 40 pounds of weight in here, but this ruck isn't designed for that, right? This is either your essential items or your comfort or critical items, right? You want to carry an 80-pound ruck, or if you're doing that type of, like, you know, I'm going to be out there for 20 days and I'm going to be doing multiple portages. Well, you want a different tool for the toolbox, right? But I'm here to tell you, with this and a mother canteen carrier over one shoulder, a G3 over the other, or two mothers, holy crap, you can carry a lot of gear. And that's what I just kind of want to show you, some of the functions and how much gear I have in here for what I'm just doing for my day-to-day as I'm just doing my hikes. So I'm going to start on the back side. First thing I'm doing, I'm going to start with the shoulder straps. So this is like our normal padded strap wrap, except, you know, like when I first did this, I wasn't going to have much here because, again, you're only carrying, you know, 30-ish pounds, right? This is pretty loaded up. To me, you know, that's not a lot, but that is a lot of weight if you're not used to it or if you're going, you know, very long distances. So I took the normal padded strap wrap, we made it wider. So this is 2 inches wide. So you got a lot of padding up there coming down, you know, past your carotids, over your delts, you know, and your clavicle, you know, kind of into your shoulders. But it still opens up just like a normal padded strap wrap. So you can put either items in there, lickies, chewies, cordage. You still got all your attachment points along the padded strap wrap for throwing your carabiner, your S-biner with your gloves, your camera, you know, all that kind of crap. Totally adjustable up near the top, you know, we're by the drag handle. It's adjustable right up here, so depending if you want it to ride higher, lower, closer to your body, farther away, you got to make some adjustments up here. And then, of course, adjustments down on the bottom for how long you want this, the whole shoulder strap length to be, right? And then, you know, I've never really been a big fan of these little, like, you know, kind of just like loop attachments, but this does help keep your excess webbing from flapping around and blowing in your face if it's a really windy day. I'll probably still take this, I'll fold this up a couple times, and then just like the medical deployment pouch that we make for Jack over at Black Scout Survival with that deployment tab. I mean, that was based off something I did with a Pro Mask way back in the day when it was gas, 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 and you were practicing. I'll probably fold this up and then tape it so it's a big, easy to grab, easy to find end of my webbing, and I can just take it from there. But even, okay, and then the last little thing about the shoulder straps, I just kind of wanted to point out, you know, you got 30 pounds of weight here, maybe 40 if you're really pushing it, you know, so it's somewhere between 20 and 40 pounds of weight. If you aren't a very good swimmer, or if you're fatigued, or if you've never done swim tests, or if, you know, if that's just not your thing, you fall in the water with even 20 pounds excess weight on your body, it's gonna drag you down, it's gonna suck you down. So even though this isn't a huge military rucksack, you're not doing, you know, like 100 pounds in it, I still wanted to make a quick release. So right where your hands would be if you were walking with your hands up on your shoulder straps, that's where the connection point is. And then that's a quick release. So we have gloves under duress, sweaty hands, whatever. Quick release, the whole ruck, you know, do both sides, and now the ruck falls away behind you and it doesn't suck you down into Davy Jones's locker. Dun, dun, dun. Then the last thing I kind of wanted to say or show off, just like, you know, this original that was designed, and you can see I had Fast Tech buckles on this one. I made Molly on the back, but not columns, just rows, because you probably don't want columns with snaps and stuff rubbing in your back. Maybe you do, maybe you're into that kind of stuff, I'm not sure. But I put rows of Molly back here, and I did this in the last live stream, and I'm just using these Malice clips. There's a couple different versions of these out here, and get the long ones, don't get the short ones for if you're gonna use it for what I'm about to show you. But you just run a Malice clip, and then if you wanted to, you can take these shoulder straps all the way off, run Malice clips, and attach it to your plate carrier if that's what you're doing for exercise or tactical or, you know, whatever it is you're doing. But then you can just Malice strap it right into your plate carrier and it'll be good to go. I already mentioned the drag handle. You got to have a drag handle so you can hold it up, you can hang it up, throw it around, you know, grab it into the rear top, or throw it in the rear of your vehicle. Now I'm just going to kind of just deconstruct what I got here kind of real quickly. So across the top, you'll notice I just don't want this to get too carried away, so give me a second here. So I just got an additional shelter on the top. I'm kind of doing it, you know, for a couple of reasons. One, now I've got a little bit of color when I'm doing my rucking, just, you know, my mile. You know, I do a mile twice a day. It just gives me a little bit of color so some idiot doesn't run me over, right? You know, from behind there's a little bit of orange. But from an emergency signal, if you were really out in the woods, it's additional shelter, whether that's for wind or sun, but it's also emergency signal, right? But really what I'm just trying to point out there is across the top, there's all kinds of tie downs on the top, so you can do exactly what I'm doing right here. Now, whether that's a tarp, a jacket, frickin' dangling your wet socks, you know, all that kind of crap. And then you've got the same thing but larger on the sides, two big attachment points, and you can see it's another grab handle if you wanted it to be, but it's also a larger attachment point for some other item. You got Molly running on both sides, so I've got one of our med kits that we make for Black Scout Survival, because you pretty much should always have a med kit. I've got one of those attached to a side. Then I've got one of our Gap pouches, and that's just full of, you know, lickies and chewies, right? The on-the-go stuff, so whether, you know, you just stop and you don't have to dig through the whole ruck, or your buddy behind you just opens that up and you pull out some Gorp or some peanut butter or some, you know, butterscotch or whatever the case is. Just lickies and chewies. You could put canteen carriers here, bottle carriers, whatever you want to put. So you got stuff on the side. And then last but not least, kind of before we get into some of the other aspects, the same thing on the bottom. You got Molly on the bottom so you can attach other items. Again, whether it's a tarp, a jacket, whatever. I put my G3 gear roll down there. I still got to get this guy, Berta, just giving you a heads up, because I'll need somebody to help me do the camera on this, because I've got this G3 set up with my shelter kit inside of here, so I can literally just come up to a tree, hitch to a tree, walk, the ridgeline deploys behind me, you know, and my whole shelter deploys behind me, attach it to another tree, and then just do a 360 and put down my corners, boom, shelter in literally seconds, right? So I'll get back to that stuff at a different time. Hopefully Berta will help me with some of that. On the front, you've got pretty ample excess webbing for your closure flap. And same thing again, you got those little elastic loops just so you can keep, some strap management going. I'm going to undo this just so you can see something else. Well, here, I'm going to show you how this opens real quickly. So if you've kind of noticed, the top is acting as a sleeve. So, if I take a tumble, there's no open areas for like small items to kind of roll out or, potentially get lost. To open this bad boy up, you put your, you can see how I'm doing it. I've got my fingers underneath the lid, my thumbs up in the corner, and I flip it inside out. It's got rigidity to it, so it actually folds over the opening inside the rucksack to help keep everything in place. Now, I just wanted to do that, get that lid out of the way. So up here in the front, no, you saw what I just did. So this is one of our folding saw pouches. I can't remember what I got in here. This is my Gomboy. Yeah, so this is a Gomboy 210. That's large enough. So if you don't want to carry a shovel or an axe up here in this, and you just want to have a folding saw or whatever else, that goes edge to edge, right? And you can get, and you just saw it, I mean, that's even inside of the case. You can fit that inside of that outer pocket, or if you want, you're running a camp axe of some form. Maybe you're into shovels, because the shovel ain't a bad idea either. But whatever, that's your sleeve for putting your additional item right in there. You really can't do this and the folding saw pouch in there. I mean, you could if you had less material on the inside. How about that? All right, here we go. And then this is just what I'm rucking. I'm just trying to give you an idea of just how much crap that's in here. I'm not gonna do every bag. This bag, as you can hear, this has got all kinds of my lickies and chewies, my cordage, all my tarp material, like, again, yeah, it's just got, well, you can hear it. D-rings, figure nines. It's like my utility bag full of stuff. And that was up on the top. And Berta, I don't know, you might have to zoom in just a little bit if possible. It's that, yep, right there, yep, and just look what you're doing. One way zoom and one way, yep. All right, so you can see the space. It actually holds like a rectangular. And I really like that because when you're putting in cases or you're putting in radios and objects like that, you're not having to deal with all those smaller weird spaces. So this doesn't necessarily just conform and it wants to be an oval one day and a circle the next day. I really like it because you can pack it out easier, and then you'll actually create more manageable spaces in between items where you can shove your socks or your do-rag or your gloves or your t-shirts, right? And use that additional space. But here, I'll just kind of take this stuff out so you can kind of get a sense. Got a brew pot, and I would have food in here. Oh, yeah, zoom it back out. Yeah, thanks, Berta, good call. I've got a brew pot, and I would probably put food, coffee, a bunch of, rice and beans. Got an extra heating unit or gas unit. I got my jet boil. So again, do I need a jet boil when I'm in Minnesota? And no, I don't need a jet boil, but it's nice to have because I don't need a fire. I can get hot coffee going here in a minute, right? So got my jet boil. I've got one of our utility pouches. It's got my power bank and my cordage, or not my cordage, but my plug-in cordage for my devices. This is spare batteries and a headlamp in one of our utility pouches. And then I got a whole nother tarp system in here, right? Just to add a little bit of weight. Then, in a kind of, Berta, we might just do this one more time. If you can zoom in just a tad. And somebody asked this during the last live stream, so there is an internal rear slip pocket. Now the ruck is kind of collapsing around me, but there's an internal rear slip pocket, and that's where I've just got, everything I would want for if I was like putting potatoes in the fire. I've got, all my, my knives and forks, my plates, my bowls, all that. But that's the rear slip pocket area. So if you wanted to, you could put padding in there of your own design. I know somebody right now is saying, well, I'm going to put some weights in there because I'm going to turn this into an athletic PT type of ruck. But that's what you get, right? Big storage space in there. Pretty awesome. I really like it. I know you're going to like it too. Berta, what have I missed here besides like having a drink or a cigar? I mean, it is Saturday after all, but Anything?
Well, I was thinking of like, if, I know for those creatives out there, if you want to bring a canvas, a little palette of what your watercolors,
Boom.
if you want to, yeah, if you're out sketching in the wild, if you're out, you could set up a little easel. If you're oil painting, you can put all that in there,
Yeah.
and you could carry. You could even carry an extra little bit of water with a cup. You could do. I could see a lot you could do with that.
Well, and just even that in there, I mean, easily fit a tablet inside
Yeah.
there, easily fit a notebook, a computer. So, you know, so cousin husband, Berta's husband, and matter of fact, he'll be our guest on Monday. So I'm not sure when I'm going to publish this video, but him and his friend William are going to be on our next live stream talking about ham radio. And they've already seen the prototype, and a bunch of the gear that they use nests and fits in here really nicely. So it's not just, you know, don't think a salt ruck, right? I'm going to probably call it something else. And it doesn't matter, bird watching, camping, hiking, fishing, you know, or just getting out there, hey, and I want to go and I'm only going to walk a couple miles out and I'm going to sit down and, like you said, and I'm just going to paint that waterfall today. Boom, boom, boom. But if you're going to go and do that, you know, and I'll just end this with my plug that I've been trying to say a lot. There's no such thing as just a walk in the woods, boys and girls. Mother Nature doesn't care what your plans for the day are and what, you know, how nice of a person you are or how much of a jerk you are. You still have to be prepared. You still need some medical. So whatever you want to do, 10 C's, get back home. Me personally, I like food, fire, water, shelter, shoot, move, communicate, medicate. However you want to look at it, you need to have that stuff on you, because these little dainty fingers and these not really claw, you know, fang teeth aren't gonna, like Buddy could almost kick my ass, man. You know, so you gotta have some stuff out there, even when you're just getting out there and enjoying it. And if you're bringing other people with you, and if you're not prepared, in my humble opinion, that's called negligence, right? And dereliction of duty. All right, I think that's it. Not really a full loadout video, but giving you guys a chance to see the ruck in all of its glory and splendor. Hearing cousin Roberta chime in from behind the camera. And I think that's going to do it, because this is probably a 10-minute video. What?
16.
Oh,
17.
oh, gosh almighty. There's me yapping again, as always. All right, I meant to do this around 10, so we're going to cut it right there. As always, well, I'm sorry, one last thing. Stay tuned. So we've got the charity auction coming on the 20th of June, and the winner of the charity auction is going to be the first person to get one of the rucks. And Evan Sambita is throwing in a really kick-ass knife he just made. Jack from Black Scout is throwing in one of the med kits with the full medical insert. So a lot of great prizes, trying to raise $500 for Readiness Training Group for their school resource officer program that they're doing in August. So that's coming soon. Other than that, you know, we'll have more information going, and then after we do that charity auction, I'll have a naming contest too, to see if somebody comes up with a better name than EIB or CIB. But until then, if you've got questions or comments, reach out anytime. I'll do the best I can to help you out. Until then, and get ready to turn it off in a second. Until then, keep thinking, keep moving, never quit. All right, everybody, be good. We'll see you later. Woo!